I don't know about you guys, but I am loving what Shiba Inu is doing right now. We have put together just a beautiful, beautiful week, almost every single day being green. And that is how today has started yet again, up about 3.75% at the time of filming this video. And SHIB has done a couple of very important things over these last 24 hours. And I want to talk about those with you, especially us blowing past 50%. And we'll get into what that means. So if you guys are new or haven't already, show your support for the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, that bell. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So I have to say, love where we're at in terms of SHIB right now. A couple very important things we did over the last 24 hours was blow past these moving averages. We actually closed yesterday's daily candle right at that 100-day moving average. And today has just taken us right past this. It's like I talked about, there's not really much in these ranges that we're fighting against. We've seen so much accumulation down here, and people that have been, prepared for the longer term moves, just accumulating and hoarding supply, that the longer this goes on, the less we have to fight against. And that's why these candles are getting bigger. Just for example, this weekly candle for SHIB, let me get rid of my drawings just to show you this. We're up 12.67%. It's one of the better movers in the crypto market. Not the best, right? But definitely not the worst by any means. And right now, SHIB is kind of floating in no man's land. Yes, we have our 200-day moving average right above us here, but that doesn't really serve as much of resistance. It does serve as support while we're making some of these moves to the upside. But, SHIB might be on the verge of doing, again, what it did here back in September of 2024. This might be the move that we're on right now. Obviously, there's no guarantees or financial advice or anything like that. But, we've continued to talk about how good the fundamentals are for SHIB, and I want to show you guys just a couple things here. But before I do that, I do want to show you ETH has done something very important here. It has moved past $4,100. That is a crucial resistance we have been fighting since all the way back in March of 2024 and have been unable to breach it. ETH has now breached that. Now, what I will say, and I talked about this in my ADA video earlier today, we are at theoretical resistance for Ethereum, and it does need to break past this basically, 42.25, 42.50 price point and start to extend beyond that. We might get a little bit of a retest here, so just something to pay attention to there. Just remember that as ETH is making those moves to the upside, or retracements to the downside here, we could see SHIB and other assets drop too. Actually, we're seeing a little bit of that. Actually, SHIB's doing pretty well despite Ethereum actually coming back down to 4,200. So maybe that's where we get a little bit of separation taking place, but we'll just have to watch and wait and see how that progresses. BTC dominance all the way down at 60%, the lowest levels we have seen since all the way back here in that first week of February when we're getting the major liquidation event. That is huge, huge stuff, right? I will say SHIB dominance continuing to pivot and surge to the upside. We've talked about that. Again, our next target is this 100-day moving average, and if we can breach that, we might be on the verge of pushing towards the top of our trend, which we have not done since all the way back here in November. That would be a very, very big deal. I will say that institutional money had a great week, flipped it around, did some big buying, especially to close the week on both the BTC and Ethereum side, over $400 million accumulated on both. So that is looking, frankly, really good. Now, what I will say for SHIB is great signs is we just keep steadily marching slow up to the right in terms of holders. So we keep having more and more and more non-zero addresses in terms of SHIB, and that's a great sign. Growth during times where the market really hasn't been doing a whole lot yet. But now that we're starting to see some exciting signs, Total 3 breakouts, Ethereum doing its thing, altcoins starting to heat up, well, that might start accelerating just a little bit. And what I found was very cool for SHIB is that we actually just surged past 50%. So what this is actually the amount of holders that are either in or at the money. And this has now surged to 55% of holders. So yes, 55% of Shiba Inu holders are currently in or at the money. Now, does this really matter? Not a whole lot. But it does show you that we still have major conviction, because I've seen several people and many people along the way, not even just for SHIB, but for other assets as well. They basically said, hey, once I get to break even, I'm up in my bag. Well, it just goes to show you that a lot of times that doesn't really matter when people say that. It's a very small amount of holders, because right now you're starting to see some confidence once again take over the crypto market. We've set those higher lows and we're slowly but surely working our way to the upside. Next target for SHIB, guys, I want to remind everybody, is up around 402. I'm not saying that we're going to get this in a day. Don't twist my words, right? But we are trying to make a very aggressive push across the crypto market. We're seeing the confidence in capital. In fact, I want to show you guys USDT dominance right here. We have broken that trend this little trend that we were creating to the upside here. So we're starting to see mindset in a very different place than it once was. And maybe this is exactly what we needed. Maybe the executive orders surrounding 401ks was kind of the trigger. Some people say it's still rate cuts. And I've said many times that I think rate cuts are just going to be an accelerant on top of a move that we're already making. I want to remind everybody that August tends to be very good in the year following the halving. It tends to actually outpace what we did in July. And July was actually a pretty darn good month for SHIB. Just to show you guys here, if we go back to the monthly, you guys can see last month we were up 8.87%. Okay, not a huge month, but a pivot month nonetheless. And we actually got as high as, 4016 last month. It's very clear where SHIB wants to run here. You guys can see the curving around, starting to change direction. And right now we're actually sitting right on the edge of that 50-month moving average. So a couple things to pay attention to there, but guys, things just continue to look good. I can't complain. There are some negative comments that I'll talk about in another video. People have questions about supply, and I really want to address that because a lot of people like to blame that as the reason that we haven't moved. It's not that at all. But yeah, we'll see how we can get through the weekend. Remember, it's going to be a lower volume weekend. We just need similar trends getting through the weekend and headed into the early part of next week. So I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below, but have a great day. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.